Never marry someone from a faraway place. There's no such thing as convenient transportation anyway. If you want to go back, go back. No money. You can't even afford a ticket to go back to your mother's house. My name is Fei. At the age of 23, I'm learning jade carving in Ruili, Yunnan. An accidental night. I was taken to a KTV by a Xiang who shares a room with me. There I met him, Abing. We're from the same hometown. They also engage in jade carving. These two commonalities, like two small stones thrown into clear water. Ripples spread in my heart. That night's encounter was meant to be fleeting. Until a few days later, in front of the ice cream stand at the street corner, we meet again. He's not tall and quite thin. Wearing a faded blue t-shirt. The hair is a bit messy. Her eyes held a cautious, attentive look. We stood at the busy street corner, talking about jade carving and landscape paintings, ornamental pieces and human faces. Common topics are like a hidden thread that connects us, connecting us briefly together. Before leaving, we added each other on QQ. His online username is The Story of the Stone. Unfashionable in style, yet somehow makes people feel secure. In my hometown, girls my age, most of them are now married women. Mother on the phone. The anxiety about being pressured into marriage is almost overwhelming. The appearance of Abin, like a window suddenly pushed open in a dark room. When he asked on QQ if he could pursue her, I hesitated hardly at all. Just replied with the word good. Thinking back now, it's just a lonely soul after all. A hasty embrace of another lonely soul has nothing to do with love. It's more like acting in a panic driven by the pressures of societal time. Our relationship, barren like the red soil of the Western Yunnan Plateau. Third meeting, at the noisy street stalls in the night market. He suddenly said, "Let's live together." I was startled. Resolutely refused. He didn't seem to expect my reaction to be so intense. A hint of anger crossed his face. Then, in a pouty manner, she said, "Well, at least we can get married, can't we?" The words "get married," like a flash of lightning. It shattered all the hesitations in my mind. Getting married means stability. It means I can get rid of the label of being an older, unmarried person. As for what marriage itself means, I never thought about it. Okay. I heard my own voice. The calmness is terrifying. When deciding to get married, we've never even held hands. The mother kept asking about his condition on the phone. I only say that, but I also actually do jade carving. The person seems honest. As for his family, 300 kilometers away, a mountain village I've never even heard of. I chose to hide it. My sister was the first to notice. Her face turned ashen as she warned me, "Do you really know him?" How long have we known each other? Just got that close. Girls should know how to respect themselves. I'm like a cat with its tail stepped on. Both shy and annoyed. To give Abin some face, to save Abin's reputation, I dug out the 800 yuan I had saved over the past year. That's the last bit of money I've managed to save by cutting back on expenses. I used this money to buy him a pair of sneakers, a wallet. Then I took him to the phone shop, pointing at that red flip phone that cost 700 yuan. Mustering all my courage, I asked, "Could you please give me this?" He was stunned for a moment. Nodded. I feel like I found a treasure. Holding that red phone, like holding a flag of victory, showing off casually in front of family members, trying to prove that my choices are correct. Mid-Autumn Festival. He brought fruits worth over 100 yuan and cheap mooncakes. Going to my older sister's house? The eldest sister sighed privately. I thought I had cried all my tears over the past 6 months. But when true despair finally arrives, tears can never dry up completely. This morning, Chen Yuan got up as usual. He washed up and changed his clothes. Gently warm milk and fry eggs for the child. When taking the child to school in the morning, the child cuddled his legs, acting coquettishly. He crouched down. Let him take me to buy some new clothes. His eyes held the tender kindness unique to an old father. Kissed the child's face. Then he stood up. The moment the door was pushed open, he turned his head and glanced at me. He nodded at me. Polite but distant, formal in manner. It's just like meeting someone by chance in an office building. A stranger colleague whose name I can't recall. Then the door closed. He spent over 300. Until this moment. I finally understand now. Don't take advantage of the fact that someone loves you. I just feel that no matter what you do, he'll wait for you right there. Don't wait until he's really cold. I really won't touch you anymore. Really treated you like you weren't even there. You're the one who's kneeling on the ground, crying and saying you were wrong. In this world, at the wholesale market, no one deserves to keep humiliating themselves just to please you. The knife you thrust out with your own hands. Even if the wound has healed, that ugly scar will also remain there forever. It hurts slightly every time it rains. He might still do it for the sake of the child. I'm still on the same marriage certificate as you. Spending time with you. But the one who used to hug you from behind, I'll gently blow dry your hair for you after you take a shower. Bought me a suit that doesn't fit at all. Turns over in the middle of the night. The guy who tightly hugs you in his arms. He died long ago, on that stormy night of October 17th last year. I killed them with my own hands. I really want to go back to that night. Give that person sitting in the bar a good lesson. Slap myself, this vain and wicked person. Pull him home with me. Tell him you'll do it tomorrow night. Take one more step forward. Back then, we met no more than 6 times. You'll completely lose him then. But I can't go back. We can't go back anymore. Every time he brings his brother's girlfriend along as company. Had a quick dinner at a snack shop. At the end of the year, he offered to take me to his home to meet his parents. 300 kilometers of road. I've never felt life to be so long in my entire existence. The shuttle bus bounced along the rough mountain road. The view outside the window is of the subtropical broadleaf forest I'm familiar with. Gradually becoming strangers. Yellow mountains covered with withered grass. With each fork in the road. Every time I see a sign with a strange place name, my heart sinks a little further. In the evening, the shuttle bus was parked by the dusty roadside. Stop at the docking point. The so-called home. It's a few low brick houses in a mountain valley. The wall paint is peeling off. A yellow dog was tied to the door, barking frantically. His father was crouched on the threshold, holding a long pipe in his hand. She squinted and sized me up from head to toe. That look wasn't like someone looking at their future daughter-in-law. It's more like examining an animal at a market. During dinner, his family members spoke at a very fast pace. Outbursts of laughter. I don't understand anything at all. Like a beggar who's wandered into someone else's banquet. Feeling uncomfortable all over. I slept in his sister's room at night. The bed was covered with rough cloth made of earth. The bed sheets and bedding are damp. It emits a musty smell. I curled up under the cold blanket. Tears flowed silently. Vast memories overwhelmed me like a tidal wave. When I got home, I mustered up the courage. Dialed his number from a payphone. Let's give up on this. My voice sounded like I was crying. He rushed over on the same day. Cried downstairs. A man in his 20s. Crying like a lost child. In the end, the mother's heart softened. He held my hand. Red-rimmed eyes. Forget it, daughter. It's all fate. Just admit it. That's exactly what I meant. It took away my last shred of resistance. The wedding was held in a highly forced and humiliating atmosphere. It settled. When discussing the betrothal gifts, his father came to the door. Before leaving, from the very bottom of the canvas bag, taking out something wrapped in plastic wrap. "Give it to me." A dark, shriveled, and tiny pig's trotter. My face instantly burned up. The shame was almost enough to make me pass out. In the end, the betrothal gift was set at $38,000. His family refused to come pick up the bride, citing the long distance as an inconvenience. My parents also feel that their faces lack luster. They didn't even hold a banquet. I just went there by myself, carrying my household registration book. The Civil Affairs Bureau issued them a marriage certificate. No wedding dress. No ceremony needed. No blessings. Those $38,000 flowed into that so-called home like water. I spent $4,000 to buy 3 gold items. The remaining money was used to buy curtains and ceiling decorations for his home. Buy a new mattress. Buying furniture. He even bought new clothes for his parents, both inside and outside the house. The in-laws go out. I say this to everyone, half jokingly and half seriously. This is our family's bank. Inexhaustible. I'm listening. It feels like my heart is being pricked by needles, with constant pain everywhere. The wedding is scheduled for the 8th day of the 12th lunar month. On the night before our wedding, we stayed in the county town, in a small hotel that cost 20 yuan per night. The next morning, I've noticed the bank card, which contained just over 6,000 yuan, is missing. I turned the room upside down. Yet he seemed to have disappeared without a trace. Vanished without a trace. The wedding was a noisy and chaotic affair with a buffet-style meal held in the village. The bride-to-be must serve tea to the elders, table by table. Guests will place the money for the tea on a plate. I held the heavy wooden tea tray in my hands. Hands slightly trembling, passing the drinks around from table to table. After greeting all the tables, the mother-in-law carried the tea tray into the inner room. Lock the door. After a long while, the door opened. She stepped out. The expressionless person handed me 700 yuan. 500 is the change of mind fee. 200 is the cost of the tea. Her voice was flat. Not a single ripple. All the noise around seemed to vanish in an instant. The world is left with only my pounding heart. I know I was made a fool of. On the night of the wedding, the guests haven't all left yet. My father-in-law got completely drunk, pointing at our noses and cursing loudly. 2 good-for-nothings. Getting married cost me so much money. The guests in the room cast various looks at me. I cried from dawn till dusk. The tears have dried up. All that's left is numbness. 3rd day of marriage. We're going back to my place. Asked his father for 3,000 yuan to cover the travel expenses. His father rushed out of the room. The face was deathly pale. Taking out a wadded bunch of bills from his pocket, he threw them angrily. Threw myself hard to the ground. I was stunned. Then squat down, under everyone's gaze, with my head down, one by one. Those banknotes covered in dirt and shame. Picked it up. Tears fell in big drops onto the cold ground. Going back to my mother's house, I put on my newly bought red jacket. Forced smiles. Didn't mention a word about the wrongs done to him. We spent over 1,000 yuan on gifts at my parents' house. When returning to Yunnan after hosting a banquet, I only have a few $100s left on me. Can't even afford the cheapest rental housing. I continue to live with my older sister's family. Not long after I found out I was pregnant, my older sister feels sorry for me. Forced me to take 2,500 yuan. Let's rent a house for $200 a month. What kind of home was that? deep within the urban villages. Just a few square meters. A true capsule hotel, in every sense of the word. No kitchen. No bathroom. There's only a tiny window the size of a palm hand. No sunlight all day long. The walls were darkened by smoke from cooking. We moved in an old bed. A canvas wardrobe. His small jade carving machine could only be placed beside the bed. As soon as the machine is turned on, the entire house was shaking. Stone dust fills the air. But even in such a difficult situation where resources are scarce, we still do it every month without fail. Send 500 yuan in living expenses to his parents. Poverty and confined spaces. It's a breeding ground for resentment and violence. We started endless arguments. It was the first time he laid a hand on someone. It was when I was pregnant with my first child. That night was Valentine's Day. He didn't return home all night. The next morning, we had a fierce argument. In a fit of rage, he pulled me off the bed in one swift motion. I fell heavily to the ground. The lower back hit the edge of the bed. A sharp pain spread from the lower abdomen. The next day, I went to the hospital alone. The doctor looked serious after the examination. The fetus's condition is unstable. There are signs of miscarriage. In the end, that child still couldn't be saved. Second instance of domestic violence. He almost killed me. That night, I got home, found that he didn't go to work. Instead, he invited a group of friends over to set up a mahjong table at his home. Smoky and foul-smelling, I forced myself to endure the discomfort. Quietly went to my older sister's house to spend the night, turned off the phone. The next day at noon, I went back to that so-called home of mine. He was like a wild beast that had been provoked. Rushing over violently. Grabbed my hair by the roots. Fists and kicks rained down violently on the ground. Tell you to shut down the device. I told you not to stay out all night. I'll kill you, you bastard. He's tired from fighting. Throw me on the ground like a piece of trash. Lock the door from the outside. Go away with your strength intact. I lay on the cold ground. Severe pain all over the body. Unable to move at all. Despair flooded me like icy seawater. I stared at the bucket in the corner of the wall. The high-proof liquor he used to make medicinal wine. It's like a kind of temptation. A form of liberation. I don't know where I got the strength to do it. Climb over and pick up that 5-gin plastic bucket. Turn off the lead. Chugged it down while tilting my head back. After that, I remember nothing anymore. Drowsy, confused. Slept and then woke up again. Woke up, then went back to sleep. The bed and the floor are covered in my vomit. That kind of utter desolation where neither heaven nor earth responds to one's cries. Thinking about it now still makes me shiver. The birth of my son, like a faint yet persistent beam of light, shining into the darkest depths of my life. The day of production. Only my eldest sister was by my side. Not a single person from her husband's family came. Not a single phone call. When the nurse took that crumpled thing. When that little reddish-brown creature was held in my arms, I cried. It's not joy, but mixed with sadness. Responsibility and the complex emotions of utter helplessness. The child has become the only reason I continue to live. When he raised his hand at me again over some trivial matter, I'm not shrinking back like I used to. Instead, he suddenly raised his head. Using all my strength, I glared at him, who was holding me in his arms. Hugging my son tightly. You dare touch me again? I just jumped down from this window with the child in my arms. My voice is hoarse, yet with a determination never seen before. He was stunned. The raised hand froze mid-air. Finally, I'm relieved to let go. At that moment, I knew. Something has changed. I'm no longer the easy target he can manipulate at will. I am a mother. When the child was 8 months old, the in-laws called. I demand 4,000 yuan wholeheartedly. The sister-in-law is about to give birth. We need money. The only 20,000 plus yuan we have in savings is all we have. It's kept for emergencies like buying formula for the baby or covering medical expenses. I firmly disagree. That's my sister. She shouted, "This is my son. I won't budge an inch." In the end, she still sent back 3,000 on my behalf without my knowledge. For this reason, I didn't say a single word to her for an entire month. The heart is shaped by these repeated acts of taking and betraying. Completely cold now. The real turning point came after he fell ill. He needs to pay a significant amount for the surgery. We've worked hard and saved for several years. I have nearly 200,000 on hand. At that time, the land in his hometown was expropriated. Received a sum of compensation. I hold on to a sliver of hope. Let him ask his family. He called with full confidence. On the other end of the phone, his father coldly said, "The money has been saved." The date of death cannot be determined. However, just 1 week later, his family informed him about the tax collection. Decided to pay the down payment for a house for his sister in the county town. On the other end of the line, there was prolonged silence. The color slowly faded from his face. I stood aside, yet my heart was unusually calm. From that day on, I completely stopped sending money to support his parents. The final straw that broke the marriage came unexpectedly. That spring festival. He told me to take the child and go back to his hometown with him for the new year. I absolutely refused.
He took his son, who was just over a year old, back with him.
When he got back, he excitedly told me, "Use what we've saved?" Preparing the 130,000 yuan needed as a down payment for the house. Bought a new car. I was so angry that my whole body trembled. What really broke me down was, he treated his mother like that. My sister, brother-in-law, and everyone else were brought to Ruyi together. I suppressed my anger. Every day, I accompany them around, showing a smile and taking them to restaurants. Bought a whole new set of clothes for his mother, both inside and outside the house. Before leaving, his mother suddenly said she wanted to fly back home. I tried to negotiate. We just bought a car. When he was short on money, he immediately grew serious. When I carried the new clothes I bought for his parents. When going back with snacks. As soon as you enter, you'll see it right away. I just bought new clothes for his mother. Left carelessly on the ground. There are also clear footprints on it. Wasteful brat. He started cursing at me right away. How many years of resentment, anger, and unwillingness have accumulated? At that moment, the dam finally broke. I've wasted your money. I've spent not a single penny of yours. Over the years, who's clinging to me like a vampire? You're even qualified to fly planes. I was practically screaming. He was furious with embarrassment. In front of everyone, slapped me hard twice across the face. I covered my face and looked at his mother. "Your son hit me. Just watch." He lifted his eyelids and glanced at me. Indifferent tone. If I'm going to hit someone, then I'll just do it. What's the big deal about a man hitting his own wife? My heart died completely at that moment. I rushed out of that suffocating room. Elder sister, look at the fingerprints on my face. After hearing my complaints, it exploded on the spot. He pulled me and rushed back straight away. Have a huge argument with his whole family. Such people really come from miserable, difficult-to-live areas and are therefore unruly. Must leave. I have to go. This time, they didn't try to hold them back anymore.
He silently packed up his things.
With my son. Left Ruyi together with his mother and sister. Leave me alone. Left it there. In those few square meters of rented space we once called home, Back then, my hand, because of spending long periods of time immersing jade in water and chemicals during carving. Recurrent ulcers. Unable to work. I'm like trash that's been abandoned. Staying at a friend's house in Ruli using their bathroom. Waited for him for a year, hoping that perhaps he'll have a change of heart. They'll give my son back to me. A year later, my parents watched with encouragement as the marketing efforts paid off. With vacant eyes, tears streamed down my face. My daughter has given up. Give up already. You're still young. You're only 27 years old. Don't risk your entire life on this. Go get a divorce. Your parents can still support you. I went there with the resolve to leave for sure. Back to that mountain village 300 kilometers away. But the sight before my eyes broke my heart. His hair and beard were tangled together. Tattered clothes. And my son, who's a little over 3 years old, wearing clothes that are too short, too small, and clearly don't fit properly. The little face is dirty. The moment you saw me for the first time. At first, I was completely confused. Then she burst into tears, jumped at me and hugged my legs tightly. Calls of Mom over and over again. Mom, please don't go. My determination, and my son's scalding tears, and amidst heart-rending screams, instantly collapsed completely. He said it was his money. It was all taken away by our parents under the pretext of keeping it for us. He also argues with his parents every day at home. They never let me hear the child's voice. I hesitated, struggled on until almost New Year's Eve. The conflict erupted completely. His mother knelt right in front of me, crying and wailing loudly. Please ask us to end our relationship. I got up crying and prepared to leave. He also stood up. His mother frantically blocked the door with her hands. Don't let him go. He wrapped one arm around me. With the other hand, he tried to knock on the door with force. His mother saw that she couldn't stop him. Bite him, right on the arm. She bit through a layer of skin. Blood gushed out instantly. His father rushed out, carrying a big wooden stick. Threatened to kill me on the spot. A kind-hearted woman in the village came over, crying to persuade him. But he was scolded back by his father with a few angry shouts. They flatly refused to let me take the child with me. In the end, he found me a dilapidated van. Pull my luggage along. Take me to the county town. The day of the divorce. The Civil Affairs Bureau isn't open. I called my parents. They're afraid something might happen to me. Let me go home first. His parents asked him whether to go with me or stay behind. He remained silent for a long time before speaking. The day I went with him, his family mobilized all their relatives to look for him everywhere. Threatened to kill him if he dared to leave with that woman. We were running for our lives. He fled the village in a hurry. Another beginning with nothing at all. Business is nowhere near as good as it used to be. We miss our son day and night. The older sister casually said, if it doesn't work, just steal it back. One can't just let a child grow up in such an environment. The speaker meant no harm. The listener is attentive. We set off that very night. Don't dare to take the main road. Along the rugged mountain paths. Sneak into that town like a thief. I hid the car in a concealed location. Waiting for him in the car. At that moment, the sound of my heartbeat was so loud it drowned out the engine's noise. As he rushed toward the car with the child in his arms, I immediately opened the car door wide. He shoved the child into my arms. Start the car immediately. Driving on the highway like crazy. Pick up my son, who's over 3 years old. We don't even have the money to send him to kindergarten. To survive. That person who used to be socially anxious and too scared to interact with others. Forcing myself to step out of the cabin. learning to help others shop for and select materials in the market. I went from stall to stall, smiling and bargaining with people over prices. Just a little bit. I actually managed to make some money. Finally, a glimmer of light seeped through the cracks in life. Later, I became pregnant with my second child. His family pretended to ask us to go back. They said they agree with us. Also promised to help us buy a house when he gets back. At that time, we had over 100,000 in savings. I'm hesitant, filled with fear inside. But he said that now he has a bow. They probably won't treat you the same way as before. I promise that if they bully you again this time, we're getting a divorce right away. I really want to have a stable home. I really just want to live a normal life. This desire overcame fear. I followed him. Once again, I set foot on that land of sorrow. However, a dog can never stop eating poop. When I get back, everything will be as usual. During the new year, the whole family gathers together. The fire pit can keep scolding me at my nose for an hour or two. And he still didn't dare say a word. He even announced it in front of his sister's family. I and my child won't get even a fraction of this home. That month when I went back, every 3 days, there's a little argument. 5 days of constant arguing. I swear an oath to the heavens, must get a divorce. Eternal forever. We'll never have anything to do with this family again. His family doesn't recognize the child in my womb. I eventually gave birth to my second child in the hospital on my own. Bring your own. I've become extremely hardworking, like a wolf mother protecting her cubs. Work hard to the extreme. Earn money desperately. All the grievances and pains, all turned into motivation to move forward. Time really passes as I strive with all my might. Getting better day by day, the child grows up slowly. I use my own savings to buy a house in my parents' home. Finally, I have something that truly belongs to me.
The calm me.
The child's father has been with me ever since we fled our hometown together. It seems like they've finally come to their senses. He agreed to the divorce. We go through the courts. The marriage, which was essentially non-existent, was dissolved. Ironically, after the divorce, we no longer argue at all. He's become very kind to both me and the child, although there's no love between us anymore, but decades of entanglement and coexistence. Let's get along like family. He later drank with his friends. Crying, she said that the person she felt most sorry for in her life was herself. The little girl endured so much hardship with him because of his cowardice in his youth, didn't protect me properly. Also listened to my parents' instigation.
Hit me.
He said he regretted it deeply. Today, the eldest son is 13 years old. The youngest son is 7 years old. I'm in the house at my parents' place, listening to their laughter as they play in the yard, looking at the familiar scenery outside the window. My heart is calmer than ever before. Looking back on that long journey, a geographical distance of 300 kilometers. It took me 15 years to truly complete it. This path is full of thorns, soaked with tears. What it taught me wasn't hatred. Rather, it's about being sober and independent. After I cheated, he forgave me, but he just refuses to touch me anymore. My name is Lin Wan, 32 years old this year, 7 years married. The child is 5 years old. It's 3 a.m. right now. My husband Chen Yuan and I, lying in the same 2-meter wide bed, the space that remains between us with our backs to each other, like a towering mountain that can never be crossed. He doesn't look at me, ignoring me and not talking to me. It's even less likely that they'd touch me. He was lying on the far right side of the bed. The body was held completely straight, avoiding any physical contact with me at all costs. Half a year ago, I made a mistake. One that I'll use up in this lifetime and the next. Mistakes that can never be made right. It all started last year on the night of my birthday. During that time, Chen Yuan has a huge project in hand. For 2 consecutive months, I only slept 3 to 4 hours a day. I know he's tired. But at that moment, I was like possessed and stubborn as hell. I think birthdays only happen once a year. Even if the sky falls, it won't stop me. He also has to accompany me. Chen Yuan sent me several WeChat messages. Humble flattery to me. As soon as Project 1 is completed, take me to Sanya right away to make it up. But I was sitting at home at that time, looking at the empty living room. The woman's flirtatious behavior is getting worse. I pretended not to see his WeChat message. He called. I'm hanging up. Finally, he messaged that he'd come home to see me as soon as he finished his work. I sneered. Immediately made plans with my best friend. I went to the busiest bar in the city. Under the numbing effect of alcohol, amidst the deafening bass sounds, 4 young guys sat at our table. I still can't figure it out right now. What on earth was wrong with me at that time? Perhaps it was a way to retaliate for Chen Yuan's lack of companionship. Perhaps it's just to satisfy one's own pitiful vanity. I'm relying on the effect of the alcohol, with one of the handsome guys, hugging and cuddling each other, when his bracelet was around my waist. At that moment, I didn't push her away at all. An extremely ridiculous thought also flashed through my mind. And those vicious thoughts. I want Chen Yuan to know. You won't keep me company. Some people accompany me. To avoid being disturbed, I simply turned my phone on silent mode. What I don't know is Chen Yuan at that time, so I could come back in time to share a bite of my birthday cake with me. Braving the heavy rain, I drove on the highway for 2 straight hours. When I got home, I saw the room empty. He's completely frantic. He used his phone to locate me throughout the city. During those 2 hours, he called me a total of 20 times. And I didn't receive any of them. When the member is drenched in rain, when pushing open the door to the bar booth, I'm hugging that guy's neck, laughing so hard my face trembles, even burying their head in the other person's neck crease. What do you think Chen Yuan reacted to at that moment? No furious outbursts like in movies and TV shows. Didn't tear him apart. Not even a single curse word was uttered. He just remained quiet like that. Step by step, I walked up to that boy. His whole body was trembling. Yet the voice remained as calm as still water. He said he was sorry. My wife drank too much. Thank you for your help. Then he stretched out that hand, which had been used for continuous overtime work. And hands with knuckles that have turned blue. Grab me and let's go. Throughout the journey, heavy rain pounded against the car windows. I'm completely terrified. Desperately apologizing. Crying, I said I didn't do it on purpose. They say I'm just drunk and acting up because of my frustration. Chen Yuan held the steering wheel. Not a word said. Drive halfway there. The car came to a sudden stop by the bridge. Chen Yuan took it out from his bosom, taking out a small box that had been soaked by the rain. It was a necklace. He waited in line for 2 months. The birthday gift was purchased only after borrowing favors from countless people. He didn't say a word. Rolled down the window, raised my hand and threw it away. A muffled thud. Vanished into the rushing river and torrential rain. That sound. I'll never forget this in my entire life. After arriving home, he watched me, kneeling on the ground, crying my eyes out. Looking down from a high position, Shinri was completely silent. You can get a divorce if you want to. Let's stay together, for the sake of the children. But I'm not the same person I used to be. Where are you going from now on? Who am I with? I won't bother with it anymore. Let's each go our own way. I was too naive at that time. We used to fight. It's always me who makes a fuss and he who calms me down. I thought he was just angry at the moment. It'll be fine in a couple of days. But I was wrong. That was Chen Yuan speaking in the most calm tone possible. I was sentenced to life in prison. Starting from that night onward, Chen Yuan seemed like a completely different person. In the past, he would go home. As soon as he enters the door, he shouts at his wife, "I'm back." Then it'll act like a big dog. hugging me from behind while I'm cooking, buried my head in my neck and acted coquettishly. Now, when he goes home, there's no sound at all. Change shoes and put keys in the study. Throughout the whole time, they treated me like I wasn't even there. I take the initiative to speak. He didn't reply to me when I asked what he wanted to eat for dinner. He pretended not to hear. I walked back and forth in front of him. His eyes would deliberately avoid me. It's as though I'm a piece of transparent glass. Only when there are children at home. He'll only speak up then. But those words, every word and phrase is meant for the child. The baby has eaten. Dad's taking you for a bath. His gaze would sweep over the spot where I stood, jump precisely over it. That kind of cold violence that's treated as nothing at all. It can truly drive a person mad with suffering. We sleep in the same bed. He's on the far right. I'm on the far left. I've tried pretending to turn over in the middle of the night. Pretending to approach him unconsciously. I want to put my hand on his waist. But my hand hadn't even touched his clothes yet. He woke up suddenly, as if shocked by an electric current. He glanced at me. The disgust and terror in those eyes. It pierced my body completely, leaving no untouched skin. Then, without saying a word, he picked up the pillow. Walked over to the sofa in the living room. She sat there until dawn. There was another time too. After taking a shower, I realized I forgot to bring a towel. I tentatively called him Cheng Yuan. Could you help me get the bath towel? There was silence outside. 2 minutes passed. He walked to the bathroom door. He didn't open the door to hand it to me. Instead, I placed the bath towel on the floor at the entrance to the bathroom. Raised a finger and knocked on the door. Then turned around and left. Not a single thing was taken along the whole way. Not even a glance was given to me, completely naked behind the door. He began to resist going home desperately. In the past, no matter how busy he was, I'll definitely drive home to sleep at 12 o'clock at night. Now he often stays at the company until 2 or 3 in the morning. Even right on the hard sofa in the office. Make do for one night. I called to ask when he would be back. Either they don't pick up the phone. Either it's just a cold, busy, after the call is connected. Then hang up directly. All my close friends who know the inside story say I deserve it. Yeah, I deserve it. But do you know? Being treated as invisible by the person you love most. What's it like? That suffocating feeling was like a dull knife cutting through flesh. Every day, they push me further down a dead end. In the past 6 months, I've tried every possible way to please him. He worked overtime, so I spent several hours making stomach-soothing soup. Take a taxi to his company. He didn't pick up what I left on the table. The next day, I went to see Yuan Tongyan. The wind lay motionless in the trash can. He drank too much at social events. Vomited all over the place when I got home. I'm so heartbroken that I can't stop crying. In the past, I would cook hangover soup for him. Help him take off his clothes and wipe his body clean. He doesn't refuse. But they definitely don't respond either. He just lay there, motionless. Let me fiddle with it however I want. Like a puppet without a soul. Being served by a household robot. I bought what the WeChat merchant claimed. A perfume that awakens a man's impulses. Bought his favorite brand from before and sprayed it on his body. But when he passed by me, his breathing never stopped, not even for a second. I even cried in front of him completely without any dignity. Crying so much that I vomited. Clutching his trouser legs and begging him, Chen Yuan, I know I was wrong. Please hit me. I'm scolding you. Please don't treat me like this. Please give me one chance. He just sat on the sofa watching TV. Not even the TV volume was turned down. Wait until I finish crying. When I collapsed on the ground, convulsing, he stood up. Passed by me with a blank expression. Back in the bedroom. Half a year in total. He never touched me at all. It doesn't refer to marital intercourse in that sense. It's literally what it means. His body is absolutely rejecting me. Last month, we went to pick up the kids from school together. The traffic was very heavy when crossing the road. I instinctively reached out and tugged at his sleeve. As a result, it felt like he'd been burned by an iron. Suddenly pulled my arm back. The amplitude of that movement was enormous. Even the 5-year-old son was stunned. Turning to ask Dad, "Why don't you let your mom hold your hand?" Chen Yuan simply touched her son's head. Didn't say a word. There was another time too. The kitchen faucet at home is leaking. He squatted on the ground to fix it. Sweaty all over. I crouched nearby, wanting to hand him a wrench. When my hand held the wrench and reached out to give it to him, he stretched out his hand. But it deliberately avoided my hand in midair. "Just go get the other tool on the ground." He refused even to take the tools from my hands. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night, looking at the faint glow outside the window, shining on his resolute back. I often find myself in a daze. Is this person still Cheng Yuan? It's still the same person who was at the wedding back then. Crying, she lifted my veil. "Tell me about Lin Wan. I'll always be good to you throughout my life. Even if you take my life, is that okay with you, Feng Yuan?" How could he become colder than the ice in Antarctica? But I know best in my heart. It was me who turned him into this state with my own hands. I used to think that, no matter what I do or how much I make a fuss, he would always comfort me right there, in the same spot. I'm used to his unconditional love. I've gotten used to using his tolerance as a leverage to control him. But I never thought about it at all. When a person's heart is completely broken, it really will shut completely. He's not stopped loving me. He doesn't dare to love again.
He's afraid he'll end up giving his heart away again.
Once again, it's my fatal strike that arrives. Last Friday, after the child fell asleep, it's already very late at night. I walked to the door of the study. Through the crack in the door, watching the members busy in front of their computers inside, he lost over 10 pounds. The originally delicate face became sunken. The area under the eyes is completely dark blue-black in color. I'm standing at the door, just watching and watching. Tears started flowing again. I finally mustered the courage to knock on the door. He raised his head. Just that one glance. My heart feels like it's being tightly grasped by a giant hand. The pain is so severe I can't breathe. Because that was during the past 6 months. It was the first time he took it seriously. "Focus your gaze on my face." I trembled as I asked him, "Cheng Yuan, can we start over?" "I beg you, he's looking at me." I watched it for a full 10 seconds. Those 10 seconds. Looks like several centuries have passed. Finally, he laughed at himself. Bent my head down and continued to look at the computer. "I'm desperate." With a crying voice, I finally asked the question I've always been too afraid to ask. "Will you never forgive me in this lifetime?" This time he finally spoke up. His voice was very soft, very tired, but every word is like a poisoned steel needle, pierced right into the core of my heart. He said, "Lin Wan, I forgive you. I really don't hate you anymore." He paused for a moment, closing my eyes in a self-mutilating manner. But I can't get over that hurdle in my own mind. Every time I close my eyes over the past 6 months, what's playing in my mind? It's all pictures of you hugging that guy. You're smiling so happily. I want to forget him. But I can't forget. His Adam's apple moved violently. The voice had a slight tremor to it. "I want to touch you. But the moment I touch you, I just remembered that boys' hands also touched you in the same way. Also, every time I come into contact with you, I just feel disgusted. Physiological nausea. The word nauseating totally destroyed me. Shattered him." After speaking, he stood up. Didn't even give me a glance as I lay limp on the ground. Just passed right by me. Back in the bedroom. That night, I crouched on the cold floor of the study, crying heartbreakingly.